What's going on, everybody? Welcome back to GmiasWorld. Today we're going to be talking about the new meta since the most recent update with the AP. I've done extensive research into a lot of the stuff that's been going on. I do want to point out a few things. For those of you guys that are still using the deep in and the deep out on the outside receivers, you may want to adjust based on the type of player that you have. I want to go over this, relatively quickly just to give you guys some insight. For those of you guys that are struggling with getting your players open for whatever reason, now that your opponent can only have two one-step aheads. So they're going to probably use mid-zone and other stupid things like that to try to get an edge on getting your player to drop the ball. Because remember, mid-zone, deep route KO, all those things, they are just intended to knock the ball out, not to intercept it. So if you notice that your player has somebody beat deep and then all of a sudden the ball is knocked out, that is the EA development team allowing that ability to work. All right, so I just want to go ahead and point that out so that everybody understands what's going on exactly. So with the physical receiver, to use mid-out elite for one is going to be more, it's going to be easier for you to get all those plays. As long as he's lined up outside and you're throwing the ball outside the numbers, he should light up. The one thing that EA did is they took away a lot of the ability for the outside streak to actually be as consistent as it was for me before. Like I said, the manipulation of the game, at this point, they're masters of it, but using mid-out, if you have Hot Route Master and you create a skinny post to the outside, he's going to cut on the dime. And if you throw that bullet pass either low, using the L2 button, or just a straight bullet pass, he's going to be there to catch it. Typically use a possession catch or whatever like that. But I wanted to emphasize this because a lot of my newer viewers, even my veterans, are like, yo, bro, I'm struggling since the last patch. What are some of the, the best tips that I can utilize to make sure I'm getting open? I would go with mid-out on physical receivers and give the deep threats deep out, deep in. Because you want to use as many one ability point abilities as possible, but also make sure that your O-line has abilities as well. All right, just so that we point that out. Now, Claypool is going to stay because Claypool is a big body and he's a good blocker. So I wanted to rage sell him before, but because I realized, like, wait a minute, since the update, everything has changed. Why don't I take that deep, that deep route, whatever, deep out, deep in off of him and give him what he's accustomed to? Now, some of you guys may say, yeah, Gmia, what about Matchup Nightmare? I want to go ahead and point this out again. This ability just lights up. If you like to see lights, which is what I think EA Sports developers think that we like to see, you can go ahead and use it, but it doesn't realistically work. It is a joke. It'll light up all day and you'll drop the ball. I'm just letting you guys know that. So whatever you want to do with it, it's fine. But if you want to cut on the dime, on skinny posts, in, stuff like that, mid-out is really, really good for the outside receivers. So, I wanted to make sure that you understood that part. So you're going to see mid-out and you're going to see mid-in on Andre Johnson. That's number one. Randy Moss is garbage. That's number two. Okay, but we're going to keep him for now. He's very, very weak. He doesn't block anybody. You guys like, yo, Gmi, what about Braylon Edwards? Yeah, but I don't want to spend the money. I'm going to wait for the next best card. But this dude is garbage. But he has deep out because, every now and again, he'll go up and get the ball. Deep in on Uncle Vern. Mid in is also, what is that, 2? I think it's like 2. But because I usually streak him up the middle, hold on, mid-zone, no, mid-zone is actually 1, yeah. So because I usually streak Uncle Vern up the middle, I throw it to him at a certain point where I usually moss no matter what. So I'll leave that the way that it is for now. I'm not going to bother it. Again, utilizing the one ability point features is always the best to kind of round out your team. On the quarterback, we still have Hot Route Master. Hot Route Master and Gunslinger. The QB is the only exception to the rule. Because, they changed the, the strong arm QBs from getting Gunslinger for 1. We all know what happened with that. No need to go back and dwell on that. But the QB is the only exception to the rule. Also, I would prefer that you guys have Identifier. Everybody else, you could give post up, and having Edge Protector on your left tackle just helps to slow down the blitz. It doesn't mean they're not going to scream. It just slows it down. All right, so these abilities have shown us, and you guys have been in streams with me. We only have 1 weekend league loss right now. We've been doing pretty well with these new, whole new scheme chemistry that we've been running and trying to understand what they did to tune the game. But the major thing is we're going to stop throwing streaks for now. I think it's just, like I said, I got it off like once today where we got it, how we used to do it back in the day, previously before this, AP to 15 patch. I would just be careful with it. I would start, making posts, throwing corners, doing, smart route and stuff. Play the game the way EA wants you to play it. Because if you do it any other way, you're gonna rage. And I don't want you guys raging because I do it and it's not really a good thing. Like, this game is not gonna get better gameplay wise. It's going to be what it is. But if we can have a little bit more fun while it's going on, it's kind of worth it. Now, when you jump over to the defensive side of the ball, I want to go ahead and just, pull out the full disclaimer. Nnamdi is garbage. I hate him as a card. I think he sucks. EA Sports intentionally nerfed him, so he'll go after a pass and it'll bounce off his face and the opponent will catch it and go for 6. It's a lot of weird stuff that's been happening. Now, you can argue and say, yeah, but Gmia, all the corners do that. And then I'm gonna say, what? And you're gonna be like, yeah. And we're gonna all realize together that the game is garbage. But at the same time, look at his numbers. That's what's so frustrating about the game. And trust me, I read hundreds of comments, at least I try to. They're shown to me daily, and I try to read as much as I can, and I see a lot of rage throughout the comments about Nnamdi. And yes, he's been nerfed. Yes, it's not even quite like the dude just doesn't play defense. He will get routed any time of the day. But again, does he fit the best criteria right now for a Niners themed team, for a Raiders themed team, for an Eagles themed team? Yes. So we're going to use him and we're going to shut up about it. And EA Sports is going to continue to patch the game and make it unplayable. But listen, that's neither here nor there. Let's get down to the nitty-gritty. Now, with this, Acrobat, your outside corners, like I said before, they've made it so that they will not do anything unless you have an ability on the players. Please, guys, just try it out. Make sure the outside guys have Acrobat. They will dive from anywhere on the field and the ball will go through them, but they may get a stop. They may pick the ball off. It's always a chance that they're gonna do the right thing. Just understand what I'm saying. It's not a guarantee, but everything that's going on right now, we have to continue to understand that EA has the ability to patch the game without putting out a real patch. So it's gonna change daily and we have to be up to date with it. But at this point, I would say mid-zone is not really needed over Acrobat. I would go Acrobat over everything because they've actually made it a point to make it necessary for that to happen. Now, when it comes to the edge guys, right? We're using edge threats right now. London Fletcher and also Tremont Edmonds, they get inside stuff for one because they're run-stopping middle linebackers. Derwin James has pick artists. These things are necessary because obviously Derwin James is my user. But the big swerve is to know that you get the run stuff is one, inside stuff is one on the run-stopping middle linebackers. Otherwise, these guys will not be on my team. It's very, very simple. Now, this is where it gets interesting. Justin Smith with inside stuff, he's probably not needed. I've labbed this, guys. You guys have seen it. We could probably go another route. Hear me out, right? We could give Ricky Jackson, what is that? We could give Ricky Jackson Edge Threat Elite. You know what it is? Because they reduced Edge Threat Elite from 5 to 4. I know typically it doesn't really work all the time, but I think for the most part, I've seen the most success from Ricky Jackson when he has Edge Threat Elite. Now with Haley is different. I'm going to explain to you why. It's a very, very interesting thing that goes on. With the way that the game plays, Ricky Jackson, for some reason, he just goes crazy. Like, nobody can really explain it. He's just a good card, and he's been a good card since the launch. In some cases, there are cards that are going to just be consistently good for no reason at all. You know what I'm saying? For no reason, they'll just be good. Deion Sanders, he will tackle Derrick Henry one-on-one when Derrick Henry has every ability on as a running back. It's just certain players that EA Sports really like. Now, this guy, we're going to go back to giving him Edge Threat Elite for 4. And then what I'm going to do is, on the other side, I'm going to give the other one, because look, the +1 abilities for the D tackles and the D ends that play in the middle, I believe that it's like a sham. Unpredictable doesn't work anymore. They've raised double or nothing. There's a lot of things that have gone on within the game where it's like, okay, I can prove to you guys everything that I'm saying. That, having double or nothing or whatever, like certain abilities just don't work. But EA Sports had to be smart about this, because even though it doesn't work, there's a chance that if you come out with a full line of it, it would create chaos within the gameplay, which is why they made it 4. I don't believe that because it's 4, it's been patched up to work better. It's just a thing where they didn't want to have all your guys with the same ability. That's pretty much what that is. Now, as far as everything else that they get, it's kind of crazy because like El Toro is similar to what Double or Nothing is. Like these dominant bull rush wins, they'll happen randomly, like throughout the game. So El Toro is the new, you know, Double or Nothing. But is it something that's going to work as consistently as Edge Threat? No, that's the honest truth. Now everything else like Run Stopper and stuff like that, they got, what is that? Speedster, Instant Rebate, all this stuff. These are all garbage abilities. Most of the stuff that they get, like Swim Club, like dude, when was the last time you seen Swim Club do anything? It doesn't really work. So this is what happens. Because we have the two middle linebackers that have inside stuff, we can get away with doing other things because the rest of it is just overkill. And I do believe that Ricky Jackson plays a lot better in certain cases when he has Edge Threat Elite. The thing about it is you just can't have two of them. So if you have two, it creates an issue. Now they did downgrade the cost of no outsiders to 1. So what we could do is we can rock this way because now no matter what your opponent does, he has to pick and choose which route he wants to go. He wants to run the ball, there's going to be no runs going on because we have that going on, and the middle is just getting blown up. And that's pretty much what your opponent has to deal with. And like I said, this right here, we're going to experiment a little bit more with everything that's going on because I'm going to go back and try this out for you guys, and then I'm going to report back to you guys effective immediately. But I think this is the route that I started off with, and it was consistent pressure. Then I played around. I gave Justin Smith inside stuff. It didn't work the same. I had dudes running on me. Like, it got weird. But Ricky Jackson has it having Edge Threat Elite for some reason, and I know most of you guys can vouch for it, he just goes crazy. And you can't do anything about it. He's just consistently coming off the edge, ridiculously. So I'm going to leave it at that for now, and then we're going to move forward with the way that we're trying to rock things out. All right, guys, going forward. So let me know your thought process around it. But these are some of the most OP abilities that you can use to kind of give yourself a chance to win. Before I let you guys go, this is something that's asked often. So I'm going to go ahead and let you guys know again. Currently, we're running the Colts offense, and we're still in the Dolphins defense. If you have any other questions, any further questions, you're not sure about something, whatever, this community that we're building right now, you will get answers. These guys are all over it, and I appreciate each and every one of you guys that take the time out of your day to answer a question for somebody that needs to know something. Thank you guys so much for that. It really helps the channel grow. I'm going to see you guys and girls next time. You have an unbelievable day. Until next time, one love, y'all.